Yesterday, an explosive device detonated near the NBC News team reporting in Syria, killing a local employee working with them. It is a tragic reminder of the challenges that reporters face when reporting on conflicts abroad. As the fight against ISIS takes a new turn, CBS News correspondent Charlie D'Agata and his team report for us on what it's been like covering the final push against ISIS in Syria.
Before creeping up to the cliffside overlooking ISIS, we were given strict instructions.
They don't want any lights facing the other side, otherwise we will be exposed to snipers.
No sooner had producer Omar Abdulkader said those words than we came under fire.
Yeah, it's coming in.
Those are bullets raining in overhead.
We just heard fire coming over that ridge. Do we really want to go?
Apparently, no we don't wasn't an option, so on we went. As we peered into the burning ISIS camp below, one prevailing thought was, how on earth did we get here? We've been covering the final fight against ISIS since early January. It should have been no surprise that the militant group's reign of terror over nearly 10 million people was never going to end easily or quickly. But nobody imagined our home would become a military base run by the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces for nearly 3 months.
Pretty austere.
One of the biggest challenges for producer Steve Berriman was trying to get any communications out. Nights were bitterly cold, at times just hovering around freezing. Our only source of heat was the fire we kept burning. But over time, we managed to make life a bit more bearable.
This is a lot better than it was, because when we first got here, the floors were filthy, so they've all been cleaned. And we brought some beds in here and some pretty horrible mattresses, but they'll do for as long as we're going to be here.
We didn't want to burden our SDF hosts, so we brought in our own food.
All right.
Which, thanks to producer Aaron Lyle and Carl Taylor on security, actually wasn't all that bad.
Pasta with tuna. Charlie, you ready?
With no running water, showers had to be improvised.
Who wants it next? It's pretty awesome.
As the fight against ISIS moved further south, so did we.
We just entered Baghouz, the last foothold, if you want to call it that, of ISIS, where they've been fighting for weeks to try to push ISIS fighters, militants back. This is as close as we've ever got to ISIS. Actually, it's as close as I've ever gotten this conflict. Doesn't exactly fill me with confidence.
This way. A day spent avoiding snipers on the front line with SDF soldiers stretched into night. We had no choice but to sleep outside. Driving further back at that time of night was deemed even riskier than staying put.
Morning. Doing what little I can. My face.
Cameraman Abdi Kadani freshened up.
That's it.
I just sleep, Charlie.
Awful.
Yeah.
Did you sleep at all?
No, I kept thinking someone was gonna walk up and shoot us.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about that. It's just the airstrikes. And the rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. There were a lot of airstrikes last night.
Soon, we were on the move again. We did return to that cliff overlooking Baghouz just as the fighting was coming to an end. It seemed somehow fitting that a terror group that had unleashed such brutality upon so many innocent people should face a final, humiliating defeat here in a scrap heap in a no-name town. And we had seen it all to the bitter end.
We're thankful to report that Charlie and his team have made it safely out of Syria and are headed home. And we send our deepest condolences to our colleagues at NBC News as they mourn the loss of one of their own. We'll be back in a moment.